Today I got a treat for you. You don't actually have to watch me make coffee or pour latte art. Today I'm talking about the pros. I want to tell you about all the latte art tricks that you see them doing on social media and on YouTube. What are they doing? They're throwing their milk out, they're banging their jugs on the bench. What are they doing? Let me take you through all these techniques and take your latte art from beginner to pro. All right, so let's imagine that we've done our shots, we've steamed our milk, and now we're looking at a jug full of milk. And the first thing you'll notice is straight away, baristas are banging, they're making lots of noise. Now, they want to be doing that because they're going to be popping the bubbles that have floated to the surface. And we're making sure that before we spin, we're actually just popping those bubbles throughout the whole jug of milk to make that as silky smooth as possible. And then the spin is a big step to their process. If you don't spin, you'll get your hot milk is much heavier, sinks to the bottom, and you'll get that froth across the top. So when they go to pour latte art, they don't get a consistent, smooth, silky milk flowing out. So they're doing a big spin all the way up until the moment they will pour that latte out. Now, you will see them also chuck a bit of milk out. Why are they wasting milk already? They haven't even poured the coffee. And this is because if you have only the milk that you need in your jug for the size cup that you're pouring, you'll be able to get a good angle on your jug. If this jug was really full, I can't really get a good angle and I can't get my tip in there. So I want to only have the milk in here that I need to be able to pour the cup that I'm actually pouring. Now, speaking of jugs, giving yourself enough time to create silky smooth milk is a big part of having great milk for latte art. Now, you might see people like Jim that use quite a big jug. Now, latte art is about latte art. It's not about milk wasted, so I'm sorry to say there will be a lot of milk wasted in the process of doing great latte art. But you might see someone use a big jug like this, a large amount of milk, and then they'll transfer to a smaller jug and they'll pour from there. Now that's just going to mean that you get a lot more time texturing your milk, you get all the bubbles popped, and you get that silky smooth milk. And they would transfer what they need into the next one. Now, before they do that, you might see them do this. Why are they doing that? Ooh, they do get a bit of condensation. So you've got to be mindful of that. But now the jug is nice and warm and we're not going to lose any temperature when we transfer into that jug. So keeping your milk nice and warm is great if you're going to enjoy drinking the coffee. Now, transferring is not just to go from the bigger jug to the smaller jug. Transferring is a process you'll see baristas do. They might do it multiple times. This process is much like the spin. It helps to integrate the froth with the milk. It's just a different style of doing it. But it is something you will see pro baristas doing. Just as much as they do the spin, they'll do the jug transfer. That's helping to pop those bubbles even smaller and get nice microfirm milk ready to pour. So next thing, we've got to get our cup. Now, latte art, you want to have time. You want to have as much time as you can. So we often go for bigger cups. If you're trying to pour something into a smaller cup, it can be hard if it's got straight walls. So you'll find they're often using a nice bowl shape. And when they're holding that, they'll be holding that from underneath. That gives them full control of that cup. You can use the handle, and it's more practical in a cafe sense, but just the way they hold their cup like that gives them full control of that angle. The other thing with this cup technique is that you'll see that they might draw the dragon's head and they'll be able to spin the cup and do all these different things. If you do commit to holding the handle, it is much harder if you're trying to invert the cup. So you'll see that they will hold it in a way that they can easily pivot that cup to get cool techniques and cool patterns into that coffee. So we've pulled our shot, we've got our cup, now we need to swirl that espresso. We want it to be blended together. The crema is basically coffee foam. If you pour straight onto crema without spinning, you'll actually make it a lot harder for the milk to integrate with the coffee. We want it to be mixed in. If you have to, you can get a spoon and stir it all together, but we want those oils to mix so that as soon as the coffee goes through it, it doesn't hit a foamy mess. So we want to get that milk to hit a silky, oil-based coffee that just flows through the espresso. That's why we're spinning as much as we can. You might have also seen us put a little bit of that heated milk into the espresso and then stir it around. This just helps to break through those first oils of the coffee and get that milk blended, and so that once we pour the milk straight on top, there's not a big difference between the coffee and the milk. It just easily blends straight through. So now we've got a little bit of dash of milk in there. We'll give it a spin and we've got our cup angled. Now, you'll see them lifting. This blending technique, moving around, we're making sure that they've got good height, and that's making the coffee blend beautifully with the milk. Now they're going to use that technique. They can often go quite slow, and you'll see them fill the cup almost to the top with this. Now this is just making sure we have a good canvas to pour our latte art onto. If you don't have this canvas and you've managed to go maybe a little bit low, or you're a bit fast and all that froth has come out and it's managed to sit on top of your espresso, you've kind of missed the opportunity to then draw your nice latte art straight on top of a canvas. So this technique is one that you want to practice, and you want to make sure that you've got a good angle on your cup, you're high enough in the air, but we're getting that nice blend of coffee and milk all the way till about 3/4 of the cup. So then you'll see them, they'll be doing their pattern, they'll be doing something beautiful, and then they'll stop and they'll chuck some more milk out, more wastage. But this is because they're trying to reduce the amount of hot milk, because as they get closer to the top of the cup, we really just want that thicker froth that they can then draw with and do the dragging technique. So that's, again, at the start, we wanted to have the least amount of milk we needed to, but by the end of it, we're just trying to get that microfoam, nice, thin, frothy milk that we can then pour and draw patterns with. And then the last thing, you've got to look at their posture. You've got to see how controlled they are. Their arms are often down and really locked in. They're actually using their body to control the flow. They'll lift it quite high and close to their face as well, so they can really see what they're doing. This is really about control and technique of flow of the milk, so they can see it, but they can also use their body to save themselves from having any sort of awkward pattern based on their hand movement or their arm being loose. You'll see them locked in, their arms are tight, and they're using their whole body to get that pattern nice and symmetrical. So is there more tips? Have I missed something? I reckon I've seen a million latte art videos and I study them all the time, and I guess it's something that you as a barista should be watching, but it's often, there'll be little things that, like, why are they doing that? Does that really help? And hopefully I've just explained some of those little techniques they're doing and how that would be helping them pour the beautiful latte art that they do. You should go and try it. Let us know in the comments below if it works for you, if there's any techniques here that you're going to go and try yourself, because this is how you move from being a beginner to a pro, and you start pouring beautiful latte art with great patterns. And it's these kind of tricks that we want to share with the community. So let us know in the comments below if you've got any extra tricks that I've missed that we need to add to the list. So there's plenty of videos on how to get silky smooth milk. We'll put them in the description. There's also latte art, rosettas, tulips. We want to make sure that you're practicing all of those techniques. But today, hopefully this has been helpful for you to learn some tips and tricks to take your barista skills from beginner to pro. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.